3 bone-chilling true night drive horrors that will haunt you forever. The night was thick with darkness, a blanket smothering the roads, whispering secrets that should never be told. With every mile driven, the car headlights sliced through the black, revealing the unnerving outlines of trees and crumbling signs that seemed to groan under the weight of shadow. A place where terrors lurked just beyond the reach of light, where local legends bled into reality. What awaited the unwary at the bend in the road, shrouded in silence more thick than the air itself? Some say it was the wails of lost souls, others, a warning they failed to heed. You wouldn't believe what happened on that stretch of Route 66, where a specter of a hitchhiker appeared out of nowhere, only to vanish into thin air moments later. A couple driving home from a weekend getaway, laughing and joking, suddenly fell silent as the back seat grew icy, the faintest trace of a whisper brushing against their ears. "Help me," they swerved, hearts racing, only to find nothing behind them but the fading glow of their rearview mirror. Talk about an eerie feeling, right? Who wouldn't feel the hair on the back of their neck stand up? As they continued down the road, the couple noticed a strange glow flickering in the distance. It pulsed like a heartbeat. They exchanged nervous glances, adrenaline surging. The road widened ahead, revealing an old diner, its once vibrant neon sign now barely clinging to life. The place, frozen in time, was a ghostly reminder of a forgotten era. Yet, the flickering light had them gripped with an inexplicable urge to stop. But what if it was more than just an old diner? What if it was a trap laid by the night, preying on lost souls craving warmth and safety? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. A thick cloud of uncertainty surrounded them as they pulled into the diner's cracked parking lot. The door creaked open with an eerie squeal, and the smell of stale coffee hit them hard. A shadowy figure stood behind the counter, its face hidden, waiting, watching. Was it a human or something more sinister? The warmth of the diner was pregnant with secrets, and each moment felt stretched out like a taut rubber band, ready to snap. Would they uncover the mystery or become just another story whispered about on late-night drives? Something cold gripped their chests as the diner's lights flickered ominously, casting twisting shadows that danced on the walls. Outside, the wind howled, carrying a sense of dread that settled into the couple's bones. What would happen next? Would they dare to ask the figure behind the counter what lay in wait in the dark corners of that diner? Or would they leave before they too became part of the night's hungry lore? The couple stood frozen in the doorway, a shroud of tension wrapping around them. Inside, the air was stale, thick with decades of unspoken tales. Dust motes swirled like lost spirits in the frail light. The figure behind the counter stirred slightly, a shadow with no distinct features, just a silhouette barely illuminated. Hello? The woman's voice broke the silence, but it came out shaky, unsure. It was a feeble attempt to pierce the oppressive gloom. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it remained still, as if calculating their every move. The man swallowed hard. Maybe we should just go?" he suggested, glancing back at the car with an undeniable urgency. The unease settling in his gut felt like a lead weight. Just as they turned to leave, the flickering jukebox in the corner sputtered to life. A haunting melody filled the diner, echoing through the empty space. The couple exchanged a bewildered glance. The song was one they recognized, a sweet yet sorrowful tune that tugged at their hearts. But why was it playing now? What kind of ghost was buried in this old place? "Wait," he said, startled, "did that jukebox just turn on by itself?" His eyes widened, brimming with both fear and intrigue. "I don't like this. Let us go," she urged, but her feet felt stuck to the ground. As if they were drawn in by some invisible force. Suddenly, the figure shifted again, and a low voice emerged, rich and gravelly. "You're not the first to stop here." It was unexpected, slicing through the tension in the air. The couple collectively gasped, hearts thundering in their chests. Who are you?" The woman stammered, taking a cautious step back. "Just a traveler like you," the figure replied, a hint of a smile almost discernible in the shadows. "But I've been waiting for someone to listen to my story. It's not just a diner, it holds the echoes of lives lost. Are you brave enough?" The man and woman exchanged uncertain glances. Every instinct told them to run, yet a deeper curiosity kept them rooted. The allure of the unknown was strong, and they could feel the tension building like a spring ready to snap. "What do you mean?" the man asked, his heart hammering louder than the jukebox. Each booth, each table they held countless souls. There are tales buried beneath these floorboards, whispers of joy and tragedy. Do you think you can unravel the truth? The figure leaned forward, a glint of something fear shimmering in its hidden eyes. A shiver raced down the woman's spine. What truth? Some truths are better left in the dark. The figure's voice dropped to a murmur, barely audible above the haunting melody. It seemed to resonate with the very walls, setting off a chain reaction in the couple's minds. They wanted to flee, yet they found themselves gradually stepping closer, but before they could decide, the door behind them slammed shut, trapping them within the diner's ominous embrace. Panic surged, constricting their throats. What? The man started to question, but their surroundings shifted. With a slow, dreadful pulse, the lights above began to dim, casting the diner in an almost ghostly glow. Agonizing whispers seemed to swirl around them, each carrying an echo of sorrow, secret steeped in eternal despair. Sometimes it's south, not the place that's haunted, it's the stories that refuse to die. The couple's pulse quickened. They realized they were not just observers, they were now part of the narrative, drawn into a horror far beyond their comprehension. Would they uncover the truth, or would they become just another lost soul in the diner's disturbing history? And as the shadows grew long and the whispers beckoned closer, one question reverberated through the suffocating air: were they the next to become echoes of the diner? The couple's breath hitched in unison as the shadows deepened around them. The figure behind the counter stretched, almost as if it were awakening from centuries of hibernation, its features still obscured but somehow more pronounced in the dim light. It seemed to sway, an uneasy rhythm that matched the haunting melody still drifting from the jukebox. "Stay and listen," it rasped slowly. "You may not like what you hear, but you'll need to confront it if you wish to leave." The woman clenched her fists, her nails digging into her palms. "What do you know about us?" she demanded, voice stronger now, fueled by a mix of fear and indignation. The figure chuckled softly, as if amused by their naivete. "I know exactly what lies within your hearts. Regrets, secrets, desires never spoken." A chill ran through the man, each word puncturing the thick atmosphere like icy daggers. "Enough of this," he snapped, stepping back toward the door, only to find it locked tight, a barrier forged by an unseen force. Panic ignited in his chest. "Don't fight it," the figure said, its tone soothing yet insistent. "It's not the door you should worry about. It's what you carry with you that truly shackles you." With hearts racing, the couple glanced at one another, vulnerable and exposed. "What do you mean?" the woman whispered, voice trembling. "The diner wants to share its burden," the figure continued. "Stories begging for release, the laughter of joy, the wails of despair. Each meal served here left a trace, a tapestry woven with human experience." The jukebox crackled as if responding, the next melody curling around them like a soft, spectral embrace. The air stilled, heavy with expectation. Both of them felt it, a gripping sense that whatever was lurking in the diner was waiting for an offering. "Tell us," the man urged, his voice cracking. "What stories? What do we have to do?" Only silence answered until echoing laughter through the years pierced the stillness, rising like the wail of a siren. The couple felt their feet root deeper into the ground, the laughter swelling with each heartbeat. Memories began to swirl around them, fragmented glimpses of smiles and tears stitched together into a narrative more than decades old. Are you willing to carry that weight? The figure pressed, its eyes glinting with urgency from the cloak of shadows. It began to reveal snippets: two lovers sharing fries late at night, a family squabbling over dessert, a soldier breaking bread with a stranger, eyes full of hope. Each image slammed into the couple, forcing them to grapple with their own hidden truths, regrets from life's relentless march. Feel it, feel their sorrow and joy. The figure urged desperately. Until you confront your own stories, you will remain trapped, unwilling, unable to heal or to move on. The woman staggered, clutching her head. Visions absorbed her: a lost chance at love, a harsh word left unspoken to a parent, the weight of choices made by fear instead of love. She could hardly breathe. What do we do? How do we leave? The figure stepped closer and whispered urgently, "You must let go." The diner began to spin, laughter now mingling with cries of anguish. The walls bent inward, and the couple felt the pressure of forgotten tales bearing down upon them. Each heartbeat felt like a countdown as they faced the gathering storm of voices, echoes of lives entwined with their own, and then the whispers crystallized into one potent declaration: face the darkness within or become part of it. As reality blurred into an insufferable haze, they realized they were standing at the precipice of revelation. Would they finally confront their truths, or would they simply dissolve into the haunting stories that haunted the diner? Before they could react, the jukebox screeched to an abrupt halt, plunging the diner into cold silence. The darkness around them pulsed with anticipation, alive as they stood on the edge of the unknown. Make your choice before it's too late, the figure warned. For in this diner, the truth waits patiently, ready to devour those who refuse to face it. As everything around them began to tremble with energy, they wondered, were they prepared to uncover the atrocities hidden within themselves? Would they become the next gift to this twisted legacy, or would they carve a path back to the light? The couple's hearts raced as the silence stretched like a taut wire, every second fraught with unspoken fear. They could feel the weight of the figure's gaze upon them, heavy and unsettling. It was like being watched by something both ancient and wise, yet sinister. Your past has carved you, the figure breathed, its voice thick with shadows. Do you not see? To forgive that which is unforgivable takes more than a mere promise. It demands a reckoning. Reckoning? The woman echoed, her voice trembling. She stepped back, her mind racing as memories flickered like dying light bulbs. What do you want from us? Only the truth, the figure replied, its face swirling in the gloom. You must embrace your pain to escape the cycle. Trust me, I know the darkness intimately. It yearns to consume you. The jukebox hummed back to life, a dissonant tune warbling through the air, twisting her stomach. As the melody danced around them, new images swirled in her mind: a late-night phone call that shattered everything, a betrayal that haunted her sleep. Stop! She cried, squeezing her eyes shut. I can't take it. I can't face it. Her partner reached for her, a desperate connection in the storm of their emotions. We have to face it. Together. This is our chance to find what we've both hidden away. The shadows thickened, wrapping tighter around them like chains. But can you? The figure taunted, its voice slithering between them. Can you truly face the ghosts that lie within? Suddenly, an image erupted in the void, vivid and shocking: a memory of a family dinner spiraled out of control, her father's face twisted in rage, her own regret boiling over. She gasped, feeling the sting of tears. The flash of a younger version of herself, yearning for acceptance but failing to find the right words. We can't dwell on what we could have said, she lamented, trembling. A flicker of realization sparked in her partner's eyes. But we can finally speak the truth. With a determination fueled by desperation, he took a step forward. I regret not being there for you. I was so focused on my own failures, his voice cracked under the weight of honesty. I pushed you away just when you needed me the most. Those words hovered in the air, immediately thickening the atmosphere with a new kind of anguish. The couple stood, exposed, yet something deep within their intertwined pain began to unravel the shroud of darkness. Feel it. The figure pressed. Feel how light seeps into the cracks of your honesty. Let each truth illuminate your path. The laughter and cries swirled around them, rising like a tempest. The diner walls shimmered with reflections of all the emotions that had ever been laid bare. The couple was both terrified and exhilarated, grief intertwined with hope. The woman took a steady breath, summoning every ounce of bravery. I'm sorry for all the words left unspoken. For every moment I let fear silence me. As those words left her lips, the dimness shifted. Light flickered from the jukebox, washing over them like a cleansing tide. Each flicker illuminated shadows of doubts, exposing them for what they truly were: chimeras born from fear. Suddenly, clarity struck. In the depth of that surreal soundscape, they realized the truth they must face was not just theirs but interconnected with the voices of many. Increased laughter with bittersweet tears melded together, creating a symphony of life they had rejected. Confront your truths. The figure's voice rose with urgency. Don't let the darkness consume you. Speak aloud the words you've buried. As they hesitated, the intensity spiked. The world around them warped, the shadows ready to reclaim them. Time was slipping away. A realization dawned: the diner wouldn't let them go until they released the shadows from within, letting them out into the world. As they braced themselves for the inevitable confrontation, the figure loomed larger, stretching impossibly toward them. Now, before it's too late, voice your truths or become a part of my collection. Caught in the tempest of emotion and fading light, their voices trembled at the edge of a precipice, a chance to break free or be consumed. Would they find the strength to name their truths before darkness swallowed them whole? Or would they succumb, forever lost within the diner's haunted tales, their own shadows intertwined with the stories of others? The air pulsed with tension, thick enough to cut with a knife. It was as if the walls of the diner had grown mouths, whispering their fears back to the couple, swirling their unspoken truths into a storm. The figure loomed closer, its presence an iron grip around their throats, squeezing out their resolve. Now, the figure hissed, its eyes narrowing as if collecting their very essence. What if I told you that your greatest fears are already known to you? All you must do is let them breathe. The woman felt her heartbeat thunder in her chest. No. I can't. Not here, not now. But her partner squeezed her hand, grounding her. We need to expose them. Let the truth be our weapon. His voice was steadier now, filled with an urgent determination she wanted to match. Taking a shaky breath, she faced the darkness. I was never enough, for my mother, for you. I hid behind smiles and laughter, but inside, I was screaming. As the words tumbled out, shadows recoiled as though burned by her honesty. The jukebox flickered again, spinning a haunting melody that sparked something within her partner. I am not whole either, he confessed, his voice low but resolute. I always thought I could escape my demons. But they live in me, in every decision I made that drove us apart. I let you down when you needed me. The intensity of their confessions reverberated through the diner, thrumming like a hidden heartbeat. Each raw admission sparked a glimmer of light, illuminating the twisted memories tangled in the dark. The pain swirled through the air, raw and real. More than just words, it was life, and life had teeth. The figure shifted. Can't you see? This isn't just about you. It's about the harm done to those who came before you, the burdens they carried, the truths they buried. In that instant, echoes rang out in the forgotten corners of the diner, voices of those long gone. They gasped and sighed, their sorrow mingling with the couple's communal lament. Who are they? The woman strained to hear, desperate for release. Your history, your lineage, the figure intoned with an eerie joy. These lost souls are the echoes of your past. You must name them, confront their suffering, or be bound to their pain for all eternity. Suddenly, flashes filled the vicinity, a flickering image of a forgotten child's laughter dulled by neglect, a mother's cries drowned by a father's rage, a father's absence left like a scar on the fabric of their family. It was more than broken dreams, it was a chorus of despair, prejudged and silenced. The jukebox blared a sorrowful note, matching the gravity of their shared story. They warned us, you know. Ghosts of the past don't vanish easily. If you think you can move on unscathed, stop it. She screamed, hands clutching her head as she fought against the maelstrom of memories. We can't carry them anymore. Her partner stepped back, the weight of realization settling on his shoulders. But it's true. We need to lift this burden. We can't keep pretending everything is fine. Another jolt from the jukebox, and the figure began to churn like a storm. Yes. Speak them. Cast off the chains of silence, or surrender to shadows. With tears blurring her vision, she whispered to the spinning chaos, Mom, I forgive you for leaving. Dad, I forgive you for the rage. I embrace my pain and the truths that once terrified me. Each word surged forth like molten fire, cleansing her scars. And with that, the lights brightened, the dark claws of despair fighting back. Shadows hissed, flickering like candle flames in the winds of change. The figure's twisted form shuddered, momentarily losing its shape as the room brightened. But what of those not yet faced? What if the darkness wants to draw in even more? Suddenly, the room trembled. The figure grew in fury, swirling massively, forcing them to confront an undeniable truth: the shadows could rise again, and time was running out. Now, before it's too late. The specter howled. Are you ready to name the darkness lurking deeper still? The diner trembled as the weight of their past clashed with the desperate need for redemption. Would they fight to release their hidden truths, or would they be swallowed forever in the tide of the unknown? The shadows recoiled, but they didn't retreat. Instead, they surged forward, thickening the air with a suffocating dread. The woman's eyes widened, heart racing, as the nearness of her fears wrapped around her like a heavy veil. The figure loomed above them, an embodiment of everything they had acknowledged yet feared to face. Face what you've ignored. Speak what lies beneath, it taunted, voice a chilling whisper that grazed the edges of sanity. The air crackled as if charged by electricity, thick and humming with their collective breaths. Do you hear it? Her partner's voice broke through the haze, raw and desperate. The whispers they want us to listen. A dread shiver washed over her. I can't. It's too much, she gasped, trembling like a leaf caught in an unforgiving storm. But the weight of their history pressed closer, squeezing any remnants of deniability. Enough! He shouted, his voice rising above the tempest. The unexpected ferocity in his tone spun her to him, a swift jolt of clarity cutting through her confusion. We have to finish this together. No more hiding. His words ignited a small flame of courage within her. The thought that they might break free, shake off the despair woven into their lives, filled her with a fresh force. Okay. She breathed, trembling with the determination that matched his voice. I'm ready. Then speak. The figure demanded, a claw extending itself like twisted fingers reaching through the air. What doomed story of your past are you harboring? I see them, she stuttered, eyes flickering, as she fell into a reverie where memories danced like restless ghosts. My grandmother. She lost her dreams chasing shadows, and my mother, she never had the chance to find her own light. We are all bound by their silence. The jukebox sputtered, the needle skipping violently as though even the music couldn't bear the weight of their truth. The figure shuddered, its form quaking under the weight of long-standing regret. With every name she spoke, it thrashed as if being torn apart from the inside. And now, I see, her partner interjected, his voice finding strength, our children might be cursed to carry this pain too. I can't let them be trapped like us. The figure shrieked, a twisted laugh echoing against the diner walls. You think you can stop it? The cycle must complete. You are entangled now. No. Their voices blended, trembling but united. We will not let the past dictate our future. With a surge of defiance, her partner rushed forward, hands forming fists. We claim back our story. We name our shadows, confront our legacy. This ends here. Together, they spoke the names of their ancestors, of buried familial pains, their voices rising like a charged anthem. Each syllable ignited something powerful, ripples of light pushing against the choking darkness. The diner trembled violently as the shadows clawed to defend themselves from the truth. And yet, the lights began to flicker. That small seed of hope spread through the shadows, even as the specter lashed out in fury, its form twisting unnaturally, blurring the once defined lines between the realms of light and dark. The jukebox whimpered, hums of forgotten melodies echoed and twisted, a fragile attempt to usher in change. You fools! You think the past doesn't cling? Do not underestimate what is yet to be named. No! They shouted in unison, driven by the spark of newfound light, refusing to be bound any longer, but just as deliverance felt palpable, a shriek rang through the diner, a sound so visceral it felt like daggers pressing against their souls. And in that instant, the horrific clarity struck. Was there a deeper layer of darkness, a wound untouched by their words? As panic surged like wildfire, the figure wailed, "Sell your souls. Give in before it consumes you whole." Darkness writhed, threatening to engulf them again, defiance meeting ancient tethering with a fervor unknown. What lurked beyond the edges of their spoken confessions? Their voices needed to reach deeper, but how far down would they dare to descend, in the heart-stopping silence that followed? Even the jukebox stilled, and the figure's gaping mouth twisted into an ominous grin. What would they unearth next, buried beneath the weight of their own buried truths? The air in the diner grew heavy, thick with an electricity that buzzed cruelly against their skin. They could feel it now, the weight of secrets not just hidden but rotting underneath, festering in the dark corners of their minds. Do you feel that? She whispered, her voice trembling as she clutched her partner's hand. It's like the walls are alive. Yes, he replied, his breath shallow and strained. But we can't let it suffocate us. His determination hung in the air, a fragile shield against the impending chaos. Suddenly, the jukebox erupted back to life, the scratchy vinyl warping a nostalgic melody into a mournful wail, an affront to their confrontation. You think this ends with words? The figure hissed, its voice dripping with malice. Truth only digs deeper. With that, the shadows shifted and slithered across the walls, grasping eagerly for their feeble forms. Each tendril coiled, atmosphere freezing as they crept closer, draping over tables, chairs, and through the flickering lights like the fingers of a malevolent specter. She could feel her heart pounding in her throat, echoing the frantic rhythm of memories that clawed to be set free. Focus! Her partner shouted, breaking through the suffocating dread. We can't run from this. What else do we need to name? His words sparked a disorienting blend of defiance and fear. She closed her eyes, forcing herself to remember, to see beyond mere shadows. The night after the accident, when I first saw them. They lingered like smoke. My father, his guilt, it choked him until it consumed him. As the name slipped past her lips, the figure twitched violently as if struck. The jukebox screeched, warping their sounds into something ghastly. No! It shrieked, a scream that resonated like shattered glass through the diner. You think you can break me? Your family's darkness is eternal. She turned urgently to her partner, fear mingling with an unshakable resolve. We were meant to confront this. It's not just us. It's the life we've been handed down, the fear that we must sever. He nodded, eyes fierce, as if a flame ignited deep within. Let us dig deeper. We want to unearth it all. Together. They shouted in unison, their voices merging with desperation. With every name released into the stifling air, grandfathers who drank too much, siblings that vanished, friendships broken by betrayal, the shadows writhed, their forms twisting like spaghetti thrown against a wall. It was a battle of wills now, the echoes of past demons clashing against the surging tides of their defiance. As truths were spoken, something shifted. The diner flickered more rapidly, trapped between shadow and light. The old glass soda machine trembled and rattled violently, spilling droplets of cold, disappearing liquid across the cracked, tiled floor. Enough! The figure roared, its tone twisting, unraveling. You think you can just dismiss me? You know nothing of what it takes to break free. But they were done waiting. They locked eyes, hearts racing, blindly dancing toward the darkness. We know enough. We break the silence. You have no hold over us. Then, with strength that felt borrowed from a place beyond them, they surged forward into the shifting wave of shadows. The diner shook, broken light piercing through the black murk, illuminating their faces for a fleeting moment. Suddenly, a blinding flash erupted from the jukebox, filling the room with a brilliance that threatened to shatter the darkness. And in that blinding moment of light, the figure screamed, its form exploding with a deafening pop that sent echoes ricocheting into silence. Then, just as swiftly, everything plunged into darkness. An unsettling stillness wrapped around them, and what felt like a tether snapped. They were left standing, heartbeats drumming in their ears, but the figure was gone, yet the air still vibrated with the remnants of terror, something sinister lurking unseen. What just happened? She gasped, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. Did we win? Are we free? But as her partner searched her eyes, dread pooled anew within him. I don't know. There was a hint of something else, something darker. A distant echo of laughter rang through the diner, chilling the bone, reminding them they hadn't finished the dance quite yet. Did we unleash worse? He whispered, a hint of horror climbing his voice. The jukebox crackled ominously, coming to life one last time before silence crashed down again. What remained hidden beneath their truths, waiting for the moment to ensnare them once more? The silence morphed into an oppressive weight, pressing against their chests like a predatory beast lying in wait. Shadows lingered, thick and brooding, around the diner, and with every heartbeat, the dread deepened. The jukebox flickered once more, its light a ghostly blue, casting long, unsettling shapes across the walls. Stay close, her partner urged, his voice barely above a whisper, yet firm enough to anchor her trembling resolve. We can't let whatever that thing is take us down without a fight. Their hands tightly intertwined, they stepped further into the shadows. Each step echoed in the stillness, reminding them of the presence lurking just beyond their sight. In that unsettling quiet, she could almost hear her pulse thrumming in her ears, harmonizing with the soft clicks of the jukebox, which still punctuated the tension in the room. Do you think we really destroyed it? She asked, her voice barely audible, the words clinging to the air like smoke. I don't know. It must have been a part of something larger. He paused, scanning the corners, memories flashing in his eyes. We faced one truth, but it's like the deeper roots are still there, hidden beneath. A sigh of resignation escaped her lips. Then where do we find the next truth? What if it's waiting for us to dig deeper? Maybe we look to the others, he suggested, his eyes darting around like a hawk searching for signs of prey, any sign that could point the way. The ones who vanished. Your father, my brother, they were tied to this place. The air crackled anew, and every corner of the diner seemed to pulse with a life of its own as they began to walk. Shadows wrapped around them, and the overwhelming sensation of being watched sent shivers running down her spine. Suddenly, the old neon sign outside flickered and hummed to life. Its harsh light reflected off the glass front, casting eerie silhouettes of their own forms. It reminded her too much of her father's old memories tied to the very shadows that coiled into twisted shapes around them now. Look! She gasped, pointing towards the windows. It's like it's showing us something. But as she squinted, doubt seized her. The patterns were shifting, revealing broken fragments of scenes their past morphed into haunting images that made her stomach churn. The diner's doors slammed shut, followed by a sickening crunch that rattled through the floor. Panic clawed at her insides, grappling for control. What just happened? She squeaked. I don't know. It's as if we're trapped here now. We need to. Before he could finish, the jukebox belted out a song that felt familiar yet disturbingly off-key, blaring through the diner like a horror serenade. The memories are calling you. The voice from the jukebox sang, mocking them, delighting in their fear. Don't listen. He shouted, grabbing her wrist tightly, but she felt rooted to the spot, drawn to the haunting melody that tugged at her mind. She resisted, pulling back, but the whispers flowed through her like a chill, more truth, more pain. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. They staggered back as the music warped, twisting the song into a wailing dirge. From the shadows came echoing whispers of names sewn into their very souls, desperate to breach the barriers of silence and darkness. No! She yelled, her resolve hardening. We want to go back. We break this cycle. But just then, the shadows shifted violently, swirling together to form grotesque faces that anchored her with invisible chains. Each face held a memory, fragments of laughter now twisted into heated wails, the agony of unspoken regrets swimming in their haunting gazes. Her partner stepped closer, eyes wide with desperate determination. Let us confront them. We name them. We take their power. But as they stepped forward, the faces snarled and hissed, the air heavy with anguish and longing. You will never escape us. You are ours. With the diner's air growing more suffocating, something in her heart broke free. She recalled her father's pain, the burdens he had carried alone, and she shouted out a name. But just as it slipped past her lips, a figure took form from the darkness, a massive silhouette, looming larger than before, its intent sharp and deadly. The jukebox hummed its final note, then fell silent. Do you think the darkness can be contained? It bellowed, an unsettling grin forming on its face. You've awakened me. Now face the truth that lies hidden beneath your shame. As despair threatened to pull them under, she realized they were far from finished, and the fight for freedom was only just beginning. Would they confront the full weight of their past? Or would they too become mere shadows lost in the echoes? With dread coiling around their hearts once more, they braced for the worst. The figure loomed larger, its features shifting, a grotesque collage of familiar faces and promises unkept. It swayed, a dark puppet dancing to the erratic tune of the jukebox's silence. She squeezed her partner's hand tighter, feeling the pulse of fear in both their bodies. What do we do? She whispered, her voice shaking. Her heart raced as the shadow began to morph, finding sharper edges, sharper intentions. Don't show weakness. He replied, though panic flickered across his face. We need to look it in the eye. It feeds on our fears. The shadows around them writhed like serpents, hissing accusations. You abandoned us. You left us to fester in the dark. The voices echoed, clawing at her memories like a swarm of angry wasps, reminding her of everything she wished to forget. Each name they uttered was like a dagger. She could barely breathe. Stop! She shouted, forcing her voice to cut through the confusion. We're not here to relive that pain. The creature grinned wide, revealing jagged teeth that seemed to gleam with a hunger. Pain is all you've ever known. Embrace it, or be consumed. With renewed courage, she took a step forward. You're wrong. She declared. We can break free from you. Our scars don't own us. The darkness hesitated, twisting unnaturally. For a fraction of a moment, the faces turned inquisitive, as if reconsidering. She could see flickers of hope buried beneath the despair. Maybe, just maybe, they could fight back, but the moment passed, and the creature lunged, a tidal wave of anguish crashing toward them. Foolish mortals. You're just like the rest, the past stains you. In a flash, he pulled her back, and together they darted toward the bright glow of the jukebox. The device felt alive, throbbing under their fingers, urging them to free the hidden truths. "Play something," he shouted, his voice cutting through the haze. "Anything. We need to break this." As her trembling hands fumbled over the buttons, an old song began to play, its melody sweet yet haunting. "Take this pain and let it resonate. Share it with the world." The shadows recoiled, howling in agony, drowning out the music with their roars. It was a cacophony of despair and rage, tearing through the diner in violent waves. So many voices, echoing memories of love and loss that clung to her like weighty chains. Then, as if the jukebox were alive, the song took a turn. A verse shot through the oppressive atmosphere like a spark from a live wire, singing about triumph over darkness, about the strength of love layered with regret. "Sing with me," she urged him, forcefully pulling him into the moment. He hesitated, fear glazing his eyes, but then he began to hum along, the sound rising together with hers. Their voices blended, a defiance against the night. Each note shattered fragments of shadow surrounding them, unraveling the chains slowly binding their hearts. The shadowy figure shrieked, its form distorting as it battled against the melodic light. "You cannot win. We are forever linked. Not if we choose to fight," she yelled back, her voice building momentum. "You don't define us." As they sang with wild conviction, the darkness recoiled, retreating into corners like mist before the sun. Faces flickered, releasing silent screams, and the weight in the diner seemed to lift, if only for a moment, but from the depths of the retreating shadow, a new sound emerged, a chilling laughter that sent chills down her spine. "You think this is over?" With brutal force, the jukebox crackled and buzzed, warping the music into dissonance. Shadows surged back, more furious and twisted than before, reassembling into eyes filled with primal wrath. "Now you will face the consequences of your defiance. The cycle will not be broken so easily." As the shape lunged again, she felt the air grow heavy, pressing against her like a vice. They had pushed back, but it was simply the beginning of something deeper, something darker. "Stay close," her partner insisted, fear clawing at the edges of his voice. "We have to brace for whatever comes next." With memories storming back to engulf them, they whispered their resolve. But a new truth pulsated in her chest, a flicker of tenacity ignited by their song. The battle wasn't over. They had awakened a part of the past that wouldn't go quietly. Would they be strong enough to face the second wave? Or would they finally be consumed? In that looming stillness, their fate hung by a thread. The diner shook with an unsettling energy, the air thick with an anticipation that felt like the calm before the storm. The couple stood inches apart, hearts colliding in a frantic dance. Shadows writhed and twisted around them, silhouettes that flickered with all the histories they had whispered into the night. "Whatever we do, we have to stay united," he said, his voice steady despite the fear. "We can't let it pull us apart." "Together," she echoed, though dread clung to her words like shadows to the walls. "Whatever happens, we do this together." The insatiable darkness stretched and poured into the room, converging on them like a hunting beast. "You think you can defeat the past? You cannot escape the cycle," the figure taunted, sweeping its arms out in a monstrous gesture, but the couple remained resolute. They knew what they had to do now. "You are the echoes of our past," she shouted, grounding herself in that truth. "And we refuse to be what you want us to be." The figure writhed, as if struck. The shadows around them flickered like dying embers, caught in a web of defiance. "You can't break us," he called out, anger threading through each word. "You will not win." With a roar of rebellion, they stepped toward the center of the diner, where the jukebox sat, its glow casting fragmented reflections on their faces. "Let us finish this," she yelled, her voice powerful and clear. "Let us command our truth." The jukebox shuddered, lights pulsating in response. As they released the last of their fears, their voices thrumming together as one, the shadows shrieked, twisting violently, rebelling against the light pooling around them. "Face it," she cried out. You don't own us anymore. Suddenly, the jukebox erupted into a symphony of triumphant melodies, its once haunting notes transforming into a powerful anthem. The darkness hissed in response, a chilling cacophony of screams and moans fading into the music. "This song is ours," he shouted, his eyes alight with fervor. "Our pain is ours to share, to transform. You are a part of history, yes, but you don't define us." As their voices rose in harmony, a wave of ethereal light burst from the jukebox, filling every corner of the diner. The shadows recoiled violently, unable to withstand the brilliance now illuminating their hollow forms. It felt like sunlight breaking after a long night. Pain and regret danced joyously within the melody they sang, breaking down the walls that had entrapped them for so long. They felt their burdens lift, twisted memories transforming into something lighter, like leaves freed from an autumn tree. It filled them with clarity, embracing the forgotten joys mingled with their sorrows. "We claim our story," she sang as tears of relief shimmered in her eyes. The darkness howled, but it couldn't compete with the power of their joined voices. They faced the encroaching shadows directly now, legs firm and hearts steady. With one final surge, they shouted as one, "You cannot drown us in regret. We rise above." And in that instant, the shadows exploded outward, dissolving like smoke in the wind. The voice of the spectre shifted, becoming frantic and desperate. "No. You cannot escape. You will become part of me." But they pushed on, with every note embodying their truths, echoing through the diner until each memory was finally released. The walls trembled and groaned as if history itself were breaking free, and the dark figure twisted into vapor, ratios of sorrow dissolving with every sound of the chorus weaving through the air. Just when it seemed like the storm would tear them apart, a blinding light enveloped the diner. The shadows clashed and cried, but in the warmth of their strength, they began to dissipate, swirling upward and out like mist fading away with dawn. When the light dimmed, the couple stood breathless, hearts racing, yet liberated. The diner felt different now, lighter, free of its haunted burden. Did we do it?" she whispered, her voice shaking as she cast her gaze around. The jukebox, now silent, had reclaimed its resting state, and sunlight flooded through the grimy windows, illuminating the diner's interior for the first time in decades. "Yeah," he managed to breathe, astonishment shining in his eyes. "We faced them and we set them free." As they embraced, the weight of the past began to lift, leaving behind a clarity they had long sought. They stepped outside into the warmth of day, shock gradually giving way to joy. The road stretched before them, a shimmering path of possibility glistening in the sunlight. "We'll tell our story," she said, and excitement flickered in her heart. They carry their truths, their shared history, and the powerful realization that courage conquers fear. As the echoes of the diner faded into the background, the couple realized their journey had just begun. Side by side, they took the first step forward, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Join us in this journey. You need to subscribe now. Don't miss our next exclusive story. Smash that like button now. Feed the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section. Share your reactions and theories about this intense ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Let us keep this adventure going together.